CBD, the general thought process amongst veterinarians and scientists and whatnot is that CBD doesn't really have a calming effect.
Okay.
THC, yes. Marijuana, yes. CBD, no, because the THC is the cannabidiol that has that effect. Having said that, I have had clients tell me this worked great for me. I'm like, well, great, then continue to use it. But I don't think that's. It might be more they're seeing what they want to see. But who knows? If it's not causing any harm, I'm like, go for it. The problem with like say storm anxiety is that the pet with their more enhanced hearing and better senses, they know the storm is coming long before you or I do. They either hear thunder off in the distance because their hearing is so much better than ours at certain wavelengths, or they sense the change in the barometric pressure that they know every time they feel this change, the storm is coming. Once the anxiety is set in, that they know the storm is coming, nothing stops the anxiety. You can knock them out with a tranquilizer sedative and they're half asleep because they're, drunk, but now they're drunk and scared. They just can't move because they're that drunk or stoned.
Right.
So the way we treat storm anxiety in the dogs that really need it, if we have to actually treat it medically, is we go ahead and put them on anti-anxiety medication. But we say during storm season, you pretty much have to give it to them every day, sometimes a couple times a day, to keep a level of the medication in the bloodstream so it's already in there before they realize the storm is coming. And
like a doggy Xanax, you mean? Is that what you're talking about?
We actually, dogs can use Xanax. So we use Xanax in dogs.
Okay.
There's a couple other anti-anxiety pills we use too. So yeah, I don't have many, but I got a few patients that do that. Because the dog, I know a couple that are on it, but the one in particular that comes to mind is a dog who was a big dog. He got so scared he tried to squeeze behind the toilet, broke the toilet off the floor, and flooded the person's house.
Oh my gosh!
And we're like, yeah, you need medicine. You need to medicate this dog. So we do that, and then beyond that, we try like desensitization therapy, where you play a recording of a thunderstorm in your house at a very, very, very soft level while you go on about your normal life and just act like nothing's wrong, give the dog a treat here and there and do this and that. And then after a couple of weeks of that, he seems to be used to it. You turn it up a little bit louder. So that's a long, drawn-out process that is more than a lot of people want to go through, but desensitization therapy can work.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I have 4 rescue dogs, and 2 are very, very scared, and the other 2, they don't care. They go out and play in the rain. So, but
it's a very individual thing for sure.
Yeah. But the 2 that are frightened are very, very frightened. It's not the same one that I had when I first moved here because she's passed on, but these 2, they're very scared. And, I do my best to calm them, but there's not a lot I can do. They don't think I'm helping, I guess.
That seems to be the norm. And I've been doing this for 31 years. And you would think that, after a while, since nothing bad happens, the dog would realize, hey, I don't need to be scared. But that's not the case. And you could act like nothing's wrong, or you could comfort them. There's so many things you can try to do, but nothing helps, nothing changes. They're still scared.
Yeah.
In many cases, we tell people, well, give them a safe space. Like if you have a crate or a cage, leave the door open, let them go in there. If they're not destructive, maybe open up the closet, let them go, crawl under the bed or in the back of the closet, and just, hey, they're scared, but they feel safe with like 4 walls around them, like the sky's not falling on them. At least they feel a little safe till the storm stops and they come back out. But then there's the ones that get so scared that they're frantic and destructive, and that's when we're like, okay, you need anti-anxiety medicine.
Yeah. I mean, I see it every day doing the lost pet thing that I do, and the ones that bolt, and then they're so frightened and they just keep running and running and running, and some get hit by cars, and it's just a really sad situation when the pet is that frightened.
It is a significant cause of lost animals. The storm, you're absolutely right.
So is there anything else that I haven't asked or that you wanted to add, about the CBD products, or dealing with, specific issues with your pets that are kind of tied into this?
Well, I think, just a quick summary. If your pet has like pain from arthritis or has anxiety, it's worth trying. I don't think it's, if you talk to people and use products that they've used that they felt helped, I don't think you're going to harm your pet, but just make sure it's CBD, not actual, THC type cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
If you think you've accidentally overdosed your dog, see a veterinarian.
Yeah. And
But
you had
again,
talked
with
a little about
CBD,
the
that's going to
signs
be,
of that, right? The vomiting and can't walk. So people would
yeah,
know
they're,
if they
you're going to
did.
see their eyes get glazed over. You're going to see them swaying back and forth or just laying down like I can't walk and potentially vomiting or having diarrhea. But usually they're just completely weirded out, eyes are glassy, can't move, swaying back and forth. That's the signs you see. But
Mm-hmm.
again, that's from THC. From CBD oil, I haven't seen any toxicities for that. Not that I see that many, but I haven't seen any. And I do know that if it's at the proper dose to be called CBD oil, it shouldn't cause that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So that's a good thing to know. But like you had mentioned also is that this is an unregulated product and you just need to proceed at your own risk, as you
You
mentioned in your
proceed
article. Yeah.
proceed at your own risk, and remember that it is not a cure-all, and be cautious about these overly ambitious claims that people are making.
Yeah. You know, the whole thing about overdosing. So if it isn't the CBD and they do get a product that was meant for a human, I see people sometimes, reaching out online. Oh my gosh, I think my dog is poisoned. And instead of doing something, they're like listening to all this crazy nonsense about what they should do and blah, blah, blah. Other than taking your dog immediately to a vet and after hours, maybe an ER vet, is there anything a person can do for a dog that may have ingested poison? I know, like a child, it would probably depend on what it could have been. But is there anything you suggest somebody do immediately other than get it to the vets, like to save its life? Is there anything to do or not do?
Other than going to the vet immediately, you could call. There's a national animal poison control hotline. You Google it on your phone, and you're going to get a number coming up immediately. I wish I had the number to give you off the top of my head. I don't, but there is an animal control poison hotline. There is a small fee associated with it, but you give them your credit card. They tell you exactly if you tell them what the dog got into, they'll tell you, oh, you're in trouble, or you're not, or what degree you might be. They'll tell
Hmm.
you if you need to go to the vet, or you know what, this is when you can sit out at home. So
Oh.
you either go straight to the vet because you don't know what's going on, or you call that number and follow their advice. And the beauty of calling that number is you put your credit card down, say they tell you got to go to the vet can now call them multiple times that night, the next day, till this dog is over that episode. That you pay that one time for the service, and their vets are available to talk to the vet you go to. So, animal poison
Hmm.
hotline's a pretty good thing.
Yeah, that is good. I'll make sure that I add that information too when we post the interview online so that people will have access to that. I know I've called the poison control hotline for my child when when they were little, but I've never thankfully had to call it for an animal, but I'm glad to know that, that's how that works because I didn't
It
know
does
that
it,
they could do that. Yeah. So,
and
well,
that's
is
about it. Make like some people will do something silly, like, oh, I'm going to put a hose down his throat and try to make him vomit or rinse him out, and then
mm,
they squirt water in the lungs and cause pneumonia. So it's best you don't try
gosh.
anything at home. Just get to the vet.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I don't like seeing any kind of, remedies that people suggest when they don't really know what they're talking about. That always frightens me. All right, Dr. Dave, we've only got a couple minutes left. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, along the same lines of what we were just talking about. Um, so we all like to check Google and see what's going on, and there's nothing wrong with educating ourselves. You just got to be cautious about what you're reading. In the vet world, we call it Dr. Google doesn't know as much as your veterinarian. Um, So looking up Dr. Google is fine to get a basis of information, but don't act on it. Call your veterinarian or go see your veterinarian to play it safe.
Yeah, that's good advice. All right. So, people can look at your website, drdavedvm.com, and also you have your 3 veterinary clinics that are or centers that I hope people will check out that live here in Sarasota and in Brandon.
Thank you very much. I think that Dr. Dave DVM link is under construction right now, but if they just Google Dr. Dave Smith, I told you that, and then I looked at it, I go, hey, it's not coming up. But just Google Sarasota Veterinary Center or Dr. Dave Smith, and you'll find me.
All right, that's great. Well, thanks so much for being with us today. I really appreciate it. And this has been very enlightening for me, listening to all this different information, because I enjoyed that article that you wrote and just thought it was a really important topic.
Well, thank you so much for thinking of me and including me.
Sure, no problem. All right, everybody. So until next time, remember that a lost pet can't tell anyone where it lives. So please be sure your pet is microchipped and wearing its ID tags. And if it is microchipped, be sure that chip is updated and registered properly. I'm your host, Patty Giarrusso, and this has been Let's Talk Pets on Society Bites Radio. Thanks for joining us today. And until next time, take care and keep your pets safe.